All right. Good morning, everyone. I see the red bar, so I think we are good. You guys can let me know if the sound is all right. Well, wait. I think. Let me know if it's okay, guys. It looks like on my end it's good. It looks like the sample one is good as well. So, it should be good for you guys too. I don't know what type of delay you guys are getting this morning. Hopefully it's not too bad. Looks like I have 8 seconds on the test machine. So, the joys of streaming. Multiple things. Ooh, there you go. The other one came through. This sound. Whoops. All right. So, sound is good. Thank you so much. All right. So, yesterday, well, I can't, I guess not really yesterday, but the last 24 hours. It's really been a day about retracements. As you guys remember going into yesterday, the euro dollar was just like a huge number, right? We're up like triple digits. We saw massive movement. Today, we don't see that as much. And it's kind of interesting because, literally across the board, for the most part, we are still seeing, I would say we're still seeing dollar weakness, but at the same time, we are also seeing gold weakness, right? We're seeing that Aussie dollar figure come back down again. And euro pound basically flat, right? 4 is nothing. And pound yen 14 is just like laughable. It's just kind of one of those things where it's just totally flat. It's just one of those things. It happens. More importantly, guys, look, home prices in the Hamptons hit record as wealthy New Yorkers are fleeing, right? So, that's always important. All right. So, again, -3 in the euro dollar, -10 in pound dollar, 19. And again, these are all flat numbers. Aussie dollar is the only one that's even remotely close. And again, dollar Swiss, again, that's continually pushed down. As I mentioned yesterday, although we were in a zone and, it was quite a large zone formed back when, in the March numbers, I mentioned that I was still bearish. I still believe that one was going to continue to grind lower, but it wasn't something necessarily I was looking to to get into. It is in kind of a danger area, but again, we continue to grind, and it did that. So it is still continuing to move down. Again, a lot of those are barbs going back and forth. This morning, I don't see too much in here that's the kind of barbs, but again, here's one from 4 hours ago. The U.S. allegations are malicious slandering. Okay, whatever. It's for stealing U.S. intellectual property. Everybody in the world knows that you steal intellectual property. So slander is only when it's not true. This is what every country has problems with, is intellectual property. And many countries or many companies have the same problem, that their intellectual property is stolen because China requires them to turn it over to them. So they can say what they want, but again, that will still continue to drive the Swiss lower. So, we got to expect to see that one. All right. Obviously, this morning in about 25 minutes, we do see the unemployment claims number. I do expect this one is going to be a little bit higher. Like I said, things were closing back down again. The big question will be are they getting their unemployment claims in early this time? Like, are they filing quick, or are they waiting? A lot of times, there can be a week, 2 weeks lag. People are waiting for last paychecks and things like that, and they haven't fully gotten it in. But I do feel that because people don't know what to expect, but they've just recently done unemployment, most likely from the first time we had the shutdown, I do feel like it'll be a much easier, much faster kind of application process. So I do think this number may be a miss, which again could also lead us into kind of negative territory on the indices, because again, you see a big number, the media is going to eat that up, be all over that one. Okay. Completely be all over it. All right. So yeah, that's where we're at. Really nothing, again, the CB leading index, and maybe we'll have a little bit of movement, but it's nothing that I'm super concerned about. Going into tomorrow morning, again, there's a lot of data tomorrow morning before we get into, chart school time. It was funny. I had everything set up today, and I was like, everything said Wednesday, and I was like, man, did I forget to change it yesterday? For some reason, this morning, I was so convinced that it was Friday morning, not Thursday. I've kind of like skipped the day. Just explains kind of the week that I'm having. But it was weird. And then it all of a sudden dawned on me, like, wait a second. No, it is Thursday. It's not Friday yet. And then I had to change everything back. Anyway, being that it is Thursday, going into tomorrow morning, you can see that we have our retail sales number for the pound, which definitely can cause some movement tomorrow morning. The forecast is expected to be about 4 percentage points lower than what it was. So keep that on your radar. As well as we have all the flash manufacturing services PMI data from Europe, right? 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then we crank right back into the pound at 4:30, and then the U.S. has the same thing at 9:45 tomorrow morning. So a bunch of different news can kind of set a lot of this stuff in many different directions. Now, The interesting thing about it is a lot of the previous numbers were just below or right at 50, which again is signifying economic contraction, right? Over 50 is considering economic expansion. And that's kind of where, we see all the forecasts today, right? Or for tomorrow. 52, 53, 48 still a little bit low in Germany, but their flash services, again, that's over showing expansion again. Overall in Europe, it's supposed to be, again, at that expanding. And again, you can click on any of these and kind of read a little bit more. But again, above 50 indicates industry expansion. All right. So, and you can see they've been kind of dismal numbers. So this would be the first kind of peak above ground, right? It's like a turtle sticking its head out of the shell. That's kind of what we're running into tomorrow. So we'll see if, we'll see if tomorrow is the day that's going to be great, or if these are going to be misses, it's going to be in the high 40s. And again, it's kind of like, wah, 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 we're still shrinking. All right. Same with the U.S. The U.S. was just under, and we're supposed to be at 52 this time. All right. I'll tell you right now, if this is a miss, this will be a big mover. If we're below 50, if this comes in lower than what it was, yeah, that will definitely be a negative kind of piece for tomorrow. So hopefully we don't see that. All right, so let's dive right into charts today. There's no reason to kind of go through. I mean, obviously the biggest news is obviously this piece right here. Again, I love this when they're like, we did not steal intellectual property. It's like that's pretty much a given across most countries and most large companies. And again, it's why people, are hesitant to do anything in China because of them having to turn their intellectual property over to the government. Okay. Some dollar stuff, again, Haskell, from lockdown to recovery. Not a big deal. This is interesting. It's unfortunately clear that there will not be an agreement in July. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see, team up fun combat social injustice. Okay, Goldman doing some publicity stuff. So it's not really anything earth shattering. And again, that's probably why we're seeing the retraces today. So all right, let's go over to the charts right now. All right. Here's what we got going on. So yesterday we mentioned that we had two different levels in here, right? I actually like the one at 72.47, but it looks like this lower level has ended up what basically held. You can see, I mean, where we were, right? Let me get my timestamp on here. Okay, here's where we were yesterday, and again, we're at that level. When we mentioned it, we're there. Again, kind of it's a larger time frame zone, so there's a bit more risk on there. And you can see we pulled back down. It eventually pulled all the way across, but it dropped about 25, 30 pips and then literally flatlined on us. So by 10 o'clock, it just went dead. It did nothing, right? We got a little bit of a pullback and then we finally collapsed to the opposite side. So it'll be interesting to see if this is now kind of the channel that we're going to maintain and stay in. Obviously, unemployment number will have some to do with this. But again, remember the warning I gave earlier in the week is, Monday we got the message that, there will be new stimulus. There will be new stimulus by the end of next week. Well, this is the end of the first week, okay? But they always like to keep people like the suspense coming. Today is Thursday. We are getting late in the week. They're not going to just put one bill through. Obviously, the first one's going to get shut down. It always does. That typically happens this kind of week before. So we could have talks today about, what stimulus looks like, or maybe tomorrow about the first proposed bill that they, it's like negotiating, right? Like you go in, you throw your price down. It's always going to be a low ball, right? We are like, you go to, a dealership and they're throwing out a high price out there. So that's kind of what we're looking for, right? Yeah, we'll see. But if they do mention anything about, stimulus, what it looks like, how much it's going to be, that could obviously put that wind back in the sails of gold again, which could jack this a bit higher again. So just keep that on your radar. As much as I look at this right now on a technical level, all kind of fundamentals or speculation aside, to me, it does look like it does want to come back down again. It wants to retrace that white box that we have drawn here and come back down and really come back down to these levels down here at 70, 25-ish, even maybe back at the 70 level right in here, right? But again, this is one of those ones that is on the hook for gold speculation. So again, any position you play in this one, make sure you are protected. Make sure you are being aware of time. Any type of data or anything like that is coming out. So, it's important, right? It's definitely important. All right. But there may be some smaller time plays in this one, but I am definitely bearish focused, but very hesitant because of the gold story. Not as worried about any Australian news, and really not really that. I don't know. I would say even on the U.S. front, any other numbers that come out, I'm probably not as concerned about it. Gold is the biggest thing that I'm worried about with this one, the inflation play. Because like I said, we saw, hey, stimulus is coming, boop, 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 all the way up. And then people forget about stimulus. And now we're just kind of falling back down again and kind of coming back. So I do feel like that's going to be something to watch out for. But bearish for the day, there may be a small position kind of in here somewhere. 30 pips is kind of in this range. We'll see what the U.S. Open provides. Again, we're so close right now. Let's see what the unemployment number looks like, and then we can get kind of an idea of, kind of get an idea, right, of what the trend for the day is going to be. All right, because again, not as much exposure to European traders, and again, it looks like they're not doing much today. But I would have to say right now, it looks like it's more of a downside play. Now, in Aussie yen, we also had an area up top, and what we were kind of looking for was the same thing. This one kind of failed us. This one never got that pop that we were looking for. It did, however, put in a level that we said, hey, listen, if we can get a failure to go higher in this one, a nice form candle, that could also be a telltale sign of something. And again, it was very, very small in this one. This is an hourly chart. It's only about 13 pips on that one. So it was a very small level. It did take a long time to get back to it. It did touch it, and it did actually just fully complete within the last half hour, and it's about a 46 pip runner. Again, perfect placement. The 1 to 3 just happens to coincide with where our profit target should have been. So there was a completed trade, and it started. It ended up triggering about 4 o'clock this morning. So again, it may have been an area that people were asleep for. But like I said, this one kind of pulled back by 10 o'clock here. It just kind of flatlined on us, and we got nothing. And then a little bit of movement at about midnight last night. And then at 4, we had that reversal. Okay, so smaller play. I still like both those two zones up top. I think 77.17 and 77.90 are still both areas that we would definitely be looking for shorts out of. Downside, would I be looking for longs anywhere in here? I don't know. I mean, the zone here, although it's drawn, it's again, the algorithm is taking measurements on both sides, and that's why it likes it. But looking to the left, I mean, there's a small area here, and there's a little bit of a pop here, and this little tiny area here. So there are some minor zones in this one, but typically in a pair like this, I'd like a nice clean zone, or I want it to be either the upper end of the curve or the lower end of the curve. And it's difficult, right? It's difficult. Going to be hard, right? Going to be hard. So, I mean, in this one, again, I'm looking for 77.17 and really 74.66 are the two areas where I'm really kind of rock solid about. I like longs and shorts on it. Intraday, we'll see. I mean, again, maybe look at this one, but this will also have the same exposure to gold, where if they say stimulus, boom, Aussie's going high. And like I said, I would not be taking this is probably good for an intraday level, but this level right here is not going to hold with stimulus talk. Gold will literally drive that right through the top of this zone, and it's not something that we're going to be able to trade. We're going to have to focus on some of these higher levels. And, depending on how far we push down, I mean, right now we are about 95 pips from this zone. Probably makes this one a lot more viable as far as, holding up to kind of a stimulus mention. But I mean, if we were sitting right here, it would get blown through. It's on too small of a time frame for something as big as stimulus and the rally that gold will see. Now, euro yen. Okay, we mentioned this yesterday. We had a small level up here at 124.25, and it looks like that was the turning point yesterday. You can see here we are right now, and here's where we were last night, right in this level. Okay, and again, we marked it off at 124. Now, this is inside of a 4-hour zone. We knew it was on the upper side of it. But same thing. I mean, we're talking about a total of about 25 pips pullback on this one. This one also, I do think that this one definitely will head down as well. We are in a zone. Again, there is a smaller piece up here. I wouldn't have drawn it that way. I would have drawn this one slightly differently, kind of in this range. Whoops, not there. Probably there, encompassing the entire red body or maybe even the green body. So it is a little bit into a short right now. And for something like this, you have this as your kind of 1 to 3, 1 to 5. This is more or less a racetrack trade. I mean, there will be right around the 1 to 3. There will be a little bit of a hiccup right here, a little speed bump. By the way these candles are formed, there's pop, basing, and sideways pop. And again, the 1 to 5, I'm okay once we break through that. So I think we'll be good for the most part to the downside. Not the same exposure to the Aussie. This is more of a yen play. The unemployment number will affect this one a little bit because of the yen. But again, the way that it's looking, it wasn't unable to punch higher. It was turning around in a 4-hour zone. A lot of these things, when they stack up and add together, also lead me to believe that this one will continue to push down for the day. And again, this is a parabolic move up. They tend to retrace back again. It may take a little bit more time without, really any big news today. But tomorrow morning, this will be a player. Okay. Tomorrow, for all that manufacturing and services PMI, this will definitely be exposed to that one. So, again, one way to play this is to maybe look at this one 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight, kind of see where we are. Again, if you're a West Coaster, you can stay up and use that midnight time frame and kind of see where we are, because that'll be when the London Open is happening. Before the news, it'll be very important to see kind of where this is, where the levels have formed intraday. And again, there will be some nice movement. Like I said, it's kind of with the forecast right now, it's expected to be, if it's 51 or 53, it doesn't necessarily matter. Both those show expansion. But with the projections above 50 for pretty much everything, if they don't hit 50, then that is a disappointment, which would be European weakness, which again drives that right back down into the technical picture that we're looking. Okay, so keep that on your radar. Looking at pound yen. So, pound yen. So we had this level drawn at 136.47 yesterday. That seemed to be the top. Again, big push forward. And let me see if I can sneak this out of the way. There we go. All right, so we were talking about finding the top in this one and finding the correct candles. And again, there was your base. There was your retest up again. And what did it do? It gave us another bit of an entry. And this entry kicked in right around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Again, that would have been that European Open, right? Again, that's a great time when we kind of fail. We had this failure here. We had a retest. We knew that was a legit level. When it pulled down, timing-wise, again, something like when the European market comes online is where you're looking for shorts. It looks just like the euro yen. It has that huge push up, a failure to go higher up top, a zone that not only gapped lower, but then was retested to show us that there were sellers in there, came back across and touched it. And again, this one has already hit its 1 to 3. It's, well beyond that at that point. Even if I take the larger box here, you can see it's on its way. I don't think this one will have a problem touching the 1 to 5, but if anything, I would assume this one comes all the way back down, back into this range. This is an area, this 135 area. I actually, unlike the euro yen pair, I would actually, there's actually a long in here. Okay. Why? Because the zone actually starts over here, and look at the way that those candles are formed. We'll put it there. That's fine too. It's close. But the way these candles are formed, a nice pop, and again, these ascending wicks are showing that buyers are stepping in, supporting it again, supporting again. So those tend to be great areas, and you can see that's exactly what it turned off of. So targets in your short need to be 135.51, but longs will come in about 135.28. Okay. The timing is what matters the most, right? It's always about the timing. Because remember, that's where the big money comes in. That's where the driving forces really kind of just kick in and do things. That's going to be what matters most, right? That's going to be what matters most. All right. Going across to the pound dollar. Okay. Pound dollar, kind of a similar situation, right? We've been still waiting for this, kind of entry system down here. Again, looking for a break of that. We mentioned it again. It went kind of through before. And again, it's shown us that it is going to break. That we're kind of looking for the bottom side of that trade, right? We're looking for the bottom side of it. Yesterday, again, we're sitting right here right now. Last night on this one, or I guess yesterday when we were talking, we're sitting right here, right? We're sitting right here up in that zone again. Unfortunately, we had shorts up at 127.59. We didn't hit it. It just kind of flatlined on us again all the way through. Kind of gave us a pop again. London Open. If we were higher, we were good. We didn't quite make it. And then again, it just pulled away. So kind of the same, to kind of keep the picture the same way, you guys can see it here, right? So we don't confuse anybody. We're going to head and we'll remove that one because we're going to keep that flip. That's kind of where it was. And although this looks like it hit it, it did not. It missed it by just a little bit. And again, this is one of those ones that just kind of left without us. And again, that's 2 o'clock. The 3 o'clock candle is right here. So it missed it by a little bit. We're going to continue this across for an area that we want to watch. Let me change this to white. There we go. All right, so kind of the same thing. I mentioned this yesterday. This is not a zone that I'm interested in holding. Again, it drove it all the way to the end here. If you're looking to get a long, I do think that there's probably a better area down here at 126.26. It's just that this one has been kind of formed, tested again, pushed to the brink. So this is technically hit number 4. So I really just don't feel that one is going to have the power to hold. I do feel if it's going to look for buyers to step in, I think 126.26 is going to be the better area. And then after that, if it's able to break, again, this one doesn't have much holding it back until we get much, much lower down here in the 125s. So again, this could be one of those things, I mean, this could be news that, the trade talks are not going well or postponed or anything. But bringing this guy all the way back down to that lower level. I'm going to keep this white box on again. That's been an area where we gapped to, kind of went above and then based and then came back up again. So it's kind of one of those areas of interest for me right now. And I'm going to watch it and also use it for a target and any type of moves back and forth. Would not take it as an entry. Price would need to come back up to 127.53 for me to enter. 126.26 on the bottom side for me looking for longs. Now pound yen. This one is just boring. Yeah, I mean we had conservative shorts and longs top and bottom when we really didn't do much. You can see I'll bring this back to an hourly just to kind of keep it consistent on everything. Here's where we are now. Let me change this hour here, and then when we go back, we're sitting right here. Okay, so we're literally in the exact same spot. All it did was go down. It went down to that wick over wick, kind of slowly grind off of it, and then pulled right back up again. So, I really would like some more movement in this one. Tomorrow, this will be a much bigger player, but unfortunately, trying to do 30-minute or hourly levels, 20 hours before the news comes out, isn't necessarily the best thing to do. This would be one later in the day that you're going to want to look at. And again, what I would do is I would drop it down to a 30-minute, kind of see where we are level-wise with things. Again, we have an area of interest down here over at 90.31. Let me see. We'll pull this one off just to make this a little bit easier to look at here. I want to keep that top one. Let's see. Let's delete that. This one we're going to hold. This one is retested, but we have one drawn. Let me pull that one off. All right, we do have one drawn there on the hourly. I'm going to extend this across right now. Actually, we'll just pull it there. You know what? No, we won't. We're gonna keep it right there. All right, so let's see how many we got here. We got about 25 pips on the top side. So we definitely have some sellers that have stepped in this range. Again, we can see that it popped up and hit again. We were sitting right here yesterday. Actually, I'm sorry. When I went off, we reset the timer. So 8:30, 8:30 is right here. So in an intraday play, we do have something over here at 91.32. Again, we've seen price get slammed down, and then front run again. So it's definitely something to keep on your radar. Again, if this is the pullback to it, it will give us enough room to kind of get that position in before kind of that opposing level. So it could be an intraday play. Again, remember these two markets are going to be closing down. But with only 3 pips moving in 24 hours, it's obviously been a slow grinding position. And it will definitely be suspect for movement tomorrow with both pound and European PMI data for services and manufacturing. So again, a little bit early, but I'd be watching this 31.32. If we just kind of base around here and we start to rally up at the end of the day, that'd be an area where we're looking for shorts. Ideally, 91.65 would be one I'd like better. And then the 90.11 down here, I think, is a much better zone than any of this stuff in the middle. So we are high on the curve as well as far as the channeling goes. So again, me short, to the short side, I think is a little bit, more something I'm interested in. Looking at euro dollar. So euro dollar, obviously high in the curve. Again, on an hourly basis, that seems to be what we're looking at. You can see on an hourly basis, where we are right now with price here. We were sitting right here yesterday. So again, we had one more kind of push up. At 9 o'clock, in 25 minutes, we were up at this top range. It gave us that kind of nice peak that we were looking for, the red candle, the green base. Again, I don't necessarily love that green kind of pull back up again, but we got another red after it, and that established the level higher, okay? So both these purples, we'll take them off now. We don't really need them. Really, for this one, again, we are sitting inside of a short right now. Obviously we're inside of a short. I do like the racetrack that we're in. I do think that if we're able to break just a little bit lower to clear this wick, I do think we can come back down again. Areas where I'd be looking to take profit is 115.21, and obviously back down here at the 114.44. Again, nice area where we pulled down, we based, and we launched off. Typically a big sign that we have some buyers, as well as the zone that we have down here. So short profit targets 115. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, remember, the way that you play these is we want them to hit, we want them to bounce off, and then come back and retest. And that's when we can take reversals off 115.21 and 114.44. Okay, those are the two levels that we're looking for to take longs back off of there. But today I also see this one, again, I see this one being bearish. kind of giving up a little bit of pressure, and we'll see where we're placed. Like I said, again, this will have some movement early morning tomorrow, and then we'll be kind of counteracted by the U.S. news. So we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. All right. But both those levels is what I would keep marked. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD is continuing to grind. We had a level sit down here just a bit lower that we talked about yesterday, the 136.67. We ended up missing that one by just a tad. Dollar CAD is down about 37 pips for the day. Here's where we are now. We were sitting right here last night. Got a little bit of a pullback again. Took that little bounce off the 133.96. And when I say bounce, it bounced up and just kind of went flat. And then we kind of hit the afternoon, early morning, midnight. We started to kind of pull back down again on this one. Kind of some dollar weakness. And again, barbs traded back and forth with China. That's going to happen. It's going to show it's going to be overall dollar weakness on it. It did not hit our level and is still basing. I don't know that this one would be that big of a mover today. Maybe the CB number may move this one slightly, but unfortunately, there's just not a lot in this one that I really love. As you can see, this zone was kind of a dial down zone off the 4-hour. We're sitting inside of a huge 4-hour zone right now. It's huge. I believe this one was the March 6th or March 9th, kind of spiked down. So it's one of those levels. I would like to, I'd like to find some type of a bullish position in this one. I just feel that it will continue to push lower at this point. It's grinding down. It really needs to hit a good level. Unfortunately, when this level was formed, the ATRs were just absolutely just monstrous. And again, I'm not a big fan of taking those absolute huge risks off huge emotional kind of bottoms or tops. It's just too big. Again, I like more kind of rational tops and bottoms. I like playing those big candles, but I don't like using them as determining levels of risk. I don't want to base my what I would consider normal risk tolerances right now off of irrational risk levels, if that makes sense. All right, so looking for a bounce on this one. Even some of the pullbacks in this one. I mean, obviously, we have a bit of a basing area right here. Right, we got a basing area. It did pull away. So, if we do pull up, there may be a short position sitting here, 134.14 today. And again, if we coincide with that 10 o'clock reversal right around the CB leading index number, there may be a short. So, kind of what we got going on, right? All right, so looking at the dollar yen. So dollar yen, here's where we are right now, and here's where we were yesterday, right here, okay? So we were just starting to kind of push through this level. What we were looking for in this was a push forward, a pullback, and a punch forward. You guys remember that? We talked about this was an area of interest. We weren't interested in taking this one short, although it did hit and go short. We were looking for a breakthrough, a pullback, and a punch, the Harry Potter trade. Unfortunately, this one never came back. It punched higher, it went up, and ended up hitting the profit target, which kind of invalidated it. And then it brought right back down again, and we're almost at the exact same spot. So again, this one died at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So after the one spike here, again, we got a little bit of movement, grind forward. We came up, and we did touch a 4-hour level, as you guys can see, a bit far. I actually didn't think we would get up that far before pulling back again. So again, my bad on that one. But we did retrace again. This is that parabolic retracement move, right? Came all the way back up and retraced it. All right, went up, tagged it. Now, the zone is good. The 4-hour zone is good. The hourly, obviously, is taking the very, very top, is a little bit shy. I tend not to take those. And like I said, in this one, the 4-hour would have been kind of where we got to. It's only about 8 pips on a 4-hour. You guys can see it right here. It came up in touch, but harder to see on that one. This one, you can see we're right there. All right. What I would do now is I would kind of see how it reacts off this level. It'll be interesting to see when we do touch this 107 area, the 107.05 area. Again, it's coming in pretty sharp, coming in pretty hot here, right? It is coming in, again, it's 8:30 right now. Let's see what that number is, because the price is moving down. Let's see. It is, yep, came in higher than expected. So remember I said it's going to be a little higher? It came in a little bit higher. So again, hurting the US dollar on that one. Now, is this 3 million? No, but it is higher than what was expected. So again, that will put a negative kind of intonation on things for the market today. I don't think this one, that was from yesterday. So again, we will probably see this come down. So the question is, how far will this come down? Will it start to stabilize in this zone? And again, the big question now is, can this come down? Can this stabilize? And if we can get a pop out of this zone, look for a bit of a retrace and then a takeoff at 10 o'clock. We may actually get that little burst to the top side. But we're, again, we got to see what it's going to do at this point. Like I said, it's a miss by a little bit. It's not an astronomical miss. It will affect the overall kind of indices more than it will the dollar yen. This is just more reaction. Again, this is immediate reaction. The dollar yen is where you're going to see it more. I'm sorry, the indices is where you're going to see it more once it's open. Because trust me, the media is going to be all over this one. They're going to be like, "Oh, it's more than expected. Unemployment's going up again." It's going to be what they're talking about because there's not really much else today. So, again, keep this on your radar. That level is technically starting at, just so everybody has it, 107.05. Downside on it again, very, very tiny risk on this one. It's 106.99, so about 6 pips. Again, see how it enters. Take a confirmation entry. Wait for it to hit the level, pull away, and then retest it in either direction. At this point, honestly, the way that it's kind of reacting right now, if this goes down, I would not be surprised if we have a break at that level, a retest, and then we come back down to this 106.74 range, kind of over in here, taking over something along these lines. I actually would not be surprised at that at this point. Again, this is a big, it was a retracement, right? But the way that it stabilized itself here, again, this is definitely going to continue to be that area of interest. Watch for it to come down. And again, if it pops out the top and retest, then go long. If it comes down below and pops back up again, then it's a short to the downside. But right now, obviously, there's no trend. There's absolutely no trend from last night till today. So the night session did absolutely nothing with the yen. And again, not really the best. So the Swiss, as I mentioned yesterday, again, this is a 4-hour chart. I said I could see it continuing to push lower, and it did. It's grinding lower. Here's where we are now, and then here's where we were yesterday. Okay, right here. It formed a small level. So, technically, I guess there was a little bit of an attempt at a 4-hour touch here. It's one of those things. I continue to see this grinding lower just because of the barbs going back and forth. And again, it's kind of a media thing. I don't know. Like I said, my risk level on this one is based off the fact that we are sitting inside of a daily zone right now. As mentioned yesterday, where this red line is, that's where I see the first really kind of the best quality buyer stepping in at 92.40. We got a little bit more room to run on that one. It's, about 30 pips. It can absolutely handle that in a day. Right now it's down about 27 pips in 24 hours. So it can make that up today. We'll see what it's able to do. Like I said, I'm not really interested in buying this one, getting in front of it. Do I want to short it? It could really turn anywhere in here. So, if you want a grinder, okay. You can definitely, it's definitely something if we get a clean pullback. Even here, you probably would not have gotten the entry, and I would not have drawn that zone. It's marked as a 4-hour zone. The hourly didn't agree that it was a zone for a pullback. It's not super clean, and there's a bit of a gap in here, and I don't know. It's one of those ones. It's like I said, it's a bearish trend. It's going down. I'm trying to, maintain patience. I'm waiting for a level that I actually do like the buyers coming in, and it's just not there yet. And it's got to move based off of this spike. It's got about 35, 38 pips to go before it hits that level. All right. Now, NQ, look at this excitement. It's crazy, right? No, not really. Not really. So, here's where we are right now at 8:30. When we go back, you guys can see that we were sitting, where right here yesterday. So yeah, here's the 8:30 number, and that's exactly where we are. I mentioned yesterday, again, I still felt like this was bearish. Of those two levels, the first one I was not interested in. I had 107.72 as where we thought it was going to bounce. I don't know if you guys can see there or not. I'll move this, over here, 107.72. You guys see exactly where that, right there. Came right down, right? Came right down and touched it on that white level. And again, when I talk about being clear, guys, here's that clear area, right? Big push, a red base, and then a pop again. And that's how I drew it. There's nothing, crazy and fancy about this one. But there's your tag bottom, to the absolute bottom. We're in the same space right now. Looking at where we are, if anything, I would say that, again, I think that this one will probably push down today. I don't really see much positive. We just had unemployment higher than was expected. There's no other news. The media is going to talk about, oh my God, COVID-19, record numbers. We're over, we're taxing the system right now. Trump has a new plan, right? None of these things are positive, right? None of these things are positive today. And again, that will be the retail trader sentiment as well. But the question is, is there anything that can really drive this? Even if big money stepped in right now and says, you know what, we're going to try to jack this price. Are they really going too much against the grain? Is there any like sleight of hand action that they can trick people with right now? No, I mean the sentiment is pretty much negative at this point. There will be bounces. This 107.71 may be another area for bouncing. Like I said, it didn't clear very far into the zone. It did pop pretty quickly, and then just kind of sawtooth back and forth sideways. So watch it. Watch it. But, for me today, I do believe the way that this top is, I mentioned yesterday that kind of umbrella or that kind of rollover effect. Here's that rollover effect, guys, right? We pushed high. We pulled back. It was a failure to go higher. It could not push again. It could not mess with those sellers. And what do we get? We got a red, we got a green, we got a red close below. So again, here's a low, here's a lower low, here's a lower low again. Again, there will be a little bit of a pop right here, obviously, but that kicked in at about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. That was the lunchtime rush back to the markets. So we'll see. I think 107.71 is an area we need to watch out for. I think we could have some pops from there. Really, really top side. There's not much in here. Like I said, there are sellers here, at this kind of wick over wick. You can see that same level's been touched twice now. But with all the negativity today, it's not really something that I'd be like, hey, listen, got to go long right now. Go long when it's on sale. Don't go long just because it's, you feel that, you're going to be the counter trend trader. Looking at the S&P. So the S&P, so we had this area of interest here, right, that we talked about before. And as you can see, it's nothing that we want to trade off of, but it's an area where we've seen definite basing. And again, we popped below, stabilized on the top. Stabilized on the top, pushed down, came back up, stabilized again, came up, touched it, came up, touched it, came up, touched it again, and went through again. So it's definitely an area that, again, keep this area on your radar for potential target areas. I don't know that I would trade off of it. Like I said, it's an area of interest, not really an area of buying or selling at this point, but it's an area that price has been pulled back into. And it's approximately right around that 32.50. So it's not surprising. Again, it ends in a 0, so it's obviously a big thing. But when it's a 50, when it's at a halfway point, it's obviously something that people want to watch out for. All right, so looking again on the higher time frames, again, obviously big push higher. Again, there's not much you can do on that one. We had sells in here at 33.59. It kind of backfired on us, right? We're like, hey, listen, go higher, go higher, go higher. It moved up a little bit, right? I mean, it went a little, but it really didn't give us kind of the power move that we were waiting for, right? Looking at this today, again, I don't use the candle when it's like this in the middle. But, I mean, again, we have a red, green, red confirmation down. We got all negativity. We got a little bit of a basing level here. But if anything, I mean, I feel like this one's going to come back down and get back into this 32.50 range again, right? And with that being said, I mean, here's how this morning could go. I mean, we got about 2 hours until the sweet spot, right? If they focus on all this negativity, all the retail traders in the world are going to want to short this thing, right? They're going to be trying to get in. They got an hour before they can do it. Right? Because figure a lot of them are going to get in at the market open and feel that there's negativity today. This is one of those situations where if we hit this price, 32.50, around 10:30, right? Around the reversal day or the reversal time, that could be an area where we see some movement. I mean, in reality, again, this is a zone that we've been following from back here, but, and I say but, okay, I'm going to move this off for a second to explain this. If you do look up into here, we did have a rally. We did have a base right there. And we did have a retest. Okay. So although it is still an area of interest from back here, we did get the rally, the base, the pop, the retest, and gone. So it is an area where buyers have stepped in. Okay. So with that being said, if we can get to that area, if we can just tank the open and end up there around 10:30, that kind of is set up for like a 10:30 reversal this morning, right? Now, we have to see what it looks like on the way down. We got to see what type of base, and we got to make sure that they're not putting in, the bears are not putting in like a huge, picnic basket sitting right here, right? Waiting for people to kind of get into this one. But it's an area that you guys need to focus on. Okay, it's an area that you should definitely watch out for. Only because the candle formation, again, this is about reading candles, all right? So, actually, I can just pull this one back across, and we can do it this way. I want to mark it off there. Pull that, save that one, and there we go. All right, so watch out for that level. Like I said, I mean, this is, if you guys are looking for where this one was coming short from earlier today, it's right there. Okay, there would have been the play. Pull it back down here. You guys can see it right there. All right, and again, that 1 to 3 is in a fine target area. All right, so going to the Dow. So here's where we were with the Dow yesterday. In chart school, we mentioned that, again, we had that one little level. We didn't expect that yellow level to hold. Why? Because, again, we had 1 touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, and here was 4. And what did it do? It rode right along and punched. Now, 27,105 was an area that we said, hey, listen, although we got this one, this is a much cleaner area. It popped at base. It hammered its way down. That would be where the entries came in. Now, it did push this level pretty far. It did push all the way up to here. So it went about 90% of the way into the level before pulling back. And again, it's a healthy level. It dropped, it based, and now boom, it's pushing through. There would have been your candle. Your 1 to 5, your 1 to 3 is in an okay location. 1 to 5, it's okay. It's kind of in the middle of an area here where you may have to get out a little bit early. But for the most part, not a horrible kind of trade entry. So again, whoops, what did I delete back there? That's fine. We can remove that one now. I'm okay with that. So again, that was another trade that would have initiated in the middle of the night, around midnight. But again, there's a level we talked about yesterday. And again, this one also, had a decent push off of that one. This one would probably also have most likely a 1030 reversal in it as well. I don't love this one as much. This one doesn't have as clean of a reversal area, unfortunately. Again, we had this kind of push down and this little piece here, and it's this zone here that things are testing off of, but that's so far away. I'd much rather just, because it is right on top of the 26,731, I'd much rather just take the 26,731 versus wait on a reversal kind of mid curve here. But it will be interesting too to see how this area of interest, this yellow one, is actually holding. It may come through and it may push to the side, but we'll see. Like I said, the 1 to 3 here is just on the other side. That's where it's going to get a bit of a hiccup. But I can see this one pushing down as well. But the entry, and there's 2. Okay, there's 2. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. So the 27,105, which would be right on this line, is where we marked off yesterday. And again, that was on the larger time frame. Again, if you're not a larger time frame person, you wanted to refine this one down because it was an all-time high. Great. Okay, great. This was also a failure to go higher. Okay. It pushed into this on the 30-minute. So again, there was an entry right here. If you did not like that entry and you wanted to get the confirmation, like I mentioned on the other one, remember before, guys, and where is it? Was it Swiss? Remember here? What did I say? The way to enter this one long is if we hit, bounce off, and retest, then we want in, right? It's a boom, 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 or break below, boom, boom. Again, lightning bolt down, lightning bolt up, Harry Potter either direction, right? I say Harry Potter, but again, it's a Harry Potter down. It's kind of a reversal Harry Potter to the top side, right? It's the same exact thing, right? And you're like, wait, what do you mean? How about that? Price came up into the zone, pulled out, retested, again, using that bottom candle, and then that was your reversal. So it was an hourly level, refined down to the 30-minute. You could have taken it the first time, or you could have waited for confirmation, which was the pull away, retest back up right here. And again, I'll change this color so you guys can see it. I'm going to make it tomato right there. Actually, tomato's the same color as that other one. I'll change it to something obnoxious. Let me change it to, what's that fuchsia color? There we go. How about that thing? Right? You guys can see right there on that candle. Came all the way back up and went to there. So you guys see the difference? Again, entry number 1, entry number 2, entry number 3. Okay, so 3 different ways to get into this one. Again, you could have got into it here, here, or here, all the way to the downside. And again, had you used the smaller risk level, right? Had you used this one, there's your profit target right now. Okay, you're deep into it. You're about 75, 80% of the way through, about to hit your 1 to 3 profit target. All right. So, a pink tomato from China. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Matt hasn't said for pink. I hate this purple color, so I'm gonna take this off right now. Cannot handle magenta anymore. We'll change it to pink. No, that's not the right one. It's not. Oh, that's the one we use. Okay. See, now my eyes are like burned out. It's like, oh god, the magenta's there. It's burned out. To the downside. But again, guys, this was one we set up yesterday. We talked about it. Again, there was a confirmation entry to it. There was a pick in the top piece of it as well. It just went a little bit farther, and you guys can see this one is grinding down, and it's only 845. Okay. So looking at gold. So gold pulled back a little bit. So here's where we are right now with gold. Let's go back up to an hourly on this one. Here's where we are with gold right now. Right, we were sitting right here yesterday. Okay, and what we said is, I guess it was on a 30-minute that we did this. Yeah, so we had a bit of a zone here. What we're saying is, this could be the top. It may be. We don't know, but be cautious because it's already hit it 3 times. And as you can see, it pulled back. Let's get the correct time on this one. 8, and we were sitting right here. Looks like 8, 9 o'clock. Yeah, so we said that this could be the new top. So what did it do? It came back up, it hit, and it pulled back down again. It got about halfway through. It was about 1.5 to 1 to the downside. But as a level, was that a clean, fresh level? The answer is no, right? I mean, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3 touches. This thing comes back up. You're getting out, right? There's no way you're holding this on a 4th touch. And again, you were at 1.5 to 1, so you would have been break even. And again, what did it do? It pushed higher. Okay, and we talked about it. This was not obviously the ideal because again the price had spiked above it, and it continued to push higher. Now we are retracing back a bit again. We'll take this off just to kind of clean the entry on that one up. Again, we got this top in, but I think my opinion on this one is again we will hear some type of a stimulus mentioned today or tomorrow. Right, we have 1 week before it needs to be approved. They got to put the low ball or high ball kind of piece out there just so they can support their base. Depending on what side puts the first stimulus package out. But CARES 2.0 is coming. So again, I expect to see this go a bit higher. And again, I'm not really trying to call tops on it more than anything else. It's just kind of again looking for something that's clean. Right now, there's not a whole lot clean on this one. That was kind of the cleanest level we had, and we had a bit of a retrace, but. For the most part, gold is one of those ones I expect it to be a big mover today. Whether it be up or down, I don't know. It's going to depend on, like I said, what side leaks the first stimulus package. It's kind of like it's like negotiating, right? You always want the other guy to say the number first. So that's kind of where they're at with how unrealistic can the first rough draft of the stimulus package be, right? Is kind of you find a minor senator that it doesn't really matter that everybody knows is an extremist. They'll come out with one, and then you'll see what in there, and it's like kind of like it's the ideal scenario. Okay, you make this crazy thing, right? Come out with it, give us the absolute craziness, and whatever they don't give us the biggest hard time about, those are the things we're pushing for. That's why last time we got climate change and everything else. It's like this is an unemployment thing. What the heck are we doing with climate change here? Wrong battle, like wrong time to fight that battle, right? So, yeah. That's kind of what we're seeing. But, I see this one going higher. I mean, I just don't think there's any debating that this is going to continue to pull back, grab more orders. And any talk of stimulus, we're going to get that pop. It's just inevitable. So, definitely one that if you guys are really big into trading gold, go for it. But right now, I think this one is going to be hard to kind of compete with. With interest rates as low as they are, the economy's not doing great. They're going to stay low longer. They're going to keep pumping stimulus out and just keep jacking this one, right? Silver. Now, Silver ran out of a little bit of gas yesterday, right? On the 30-minute, this one, where gold is kind of pushing higher and has pulled back, this one is kind of hit now inside of a little bit of a channel, right? We were up to the 23.25 range, and we are back now down into the 22.60 range. So we've had about a 60 cent drop in this one. Silver is a little bit different of a player. It is not so much of an that inflation hedge, but again, it does get kind of sucked up there when gold does. They're like, oh, the metals are rising. It's like, well, I mean, silver's not really the same hedge for inflation that gold is. I mean, there's no silver standard really. It's not like something that people talk about. It's like, oh, well, how much, Fort Knox, how much silver do they have to back the dollar? It doesn't really work like that. That's not really something that people are focused on. And you can see, again, we had a push. We kind of had this feather to go higher, kind of bit to it. What's concerning about this one is, again, we had a high here, and a high here. So you will definitely have people saying, I recognize that pattern, right? I recognize that pattern. And I'm sure you guys, know this pattern as well. This to there. Whoops. Where is it? All right. That was a bad draw. Here, there. Then there is a here, and then there is a here, and here. Okay. A lot of you will see that and say, I know what that is. I know what that is. And again, the technical traders out there are going to see that one and say, okay. Oops, man, these buttons are just not working for me. They're going to see this and be like, oh, I know what that is. And they're going to do their measurements and they're going to say, hey, it's going down today. Yeah, I mean, it's a common pattern. And like I said, does that pattern in reality, just because price did that, does that mean it has to do that? No, but I mean, again, a lot of times perception is reality, guys. When people see that and they're like, oh, I know it's going to happen, they force it to happen. It's not necessarily a big money thing. It's just it's kind of like oh, yes, it's just kind of, it's like a Pavlov dog thing. I see the head and shoulders. Got it short. Everybody starts shorting silver. So we'll see where it goes today. Like I said, it will get drug out with the stimulus thing is still there, but this will be an artificial probably short today because everybody sees that little, three peaks going sideways, to the trend upside. Is it a reversal? It failed to go high. Yeah. So yeah. Climate better a bit due to COVID. Yeah. Yeah. By any other names? Yeah. Well, I mean, if people aren't driving, technically, pollution should be great right now. I mean, that's what they were saying in Wuhan province when they shut it down. I mean, it was a big technological province, right? That's where all the factories were. They said it's the best pollution that China has seen like in the last 15, 20 years, right? They have such issues with pollution, but they're like, oh my God, it's great. And like you're seeing smog less. I mean, it's like, yeah, if we go to a full at-home working, a full remote worker method, pollution could be solved. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Metal to back the dollar, make the Great Depressions work. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the interesting thing. So here's what, gold is very interesting. At least physical gold. Many countries, including the U.S. now, are looking to go full digital and get rid of the kind of physical assets of things. If they go in that direction, I think it'll be interesting to see if things will still continue to be pegged to gold at all. And again, if they are, and again, like I said, I don't know. This is pure speculation. But like I said, there has to be some type of backing. In the long run, I almost am convinced that it's not tradable right now, but eventually water will become, I guess, the primary asset that people need to have. Right? I mean, there's many countries that don't have enough fresh water for themselves right now. I mean, that will eventually become the greatest commodity is water, right? Drinkable water, right? Through many different reasons. And again, that's why people are so focused on, desalinization technology and things like that. But I do believe that if gold is ever removed as kind of like the standard for, trade in basing currencies, for any number of reasons why. I mean, it's not like there's enough of it there right now. And if once we go digital and they don't need those physical assets, because again, there's not enough gold there right now, truly, to back what we have for anybody to have. But it's just, it's kind of one of those things. It's like tradition at this point. But if it gets removed and gold does not become a hedge anymore, and it becomes purely like an industrial based metal, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what the price of gold does if it comes back into the same range as silver. For many reasons, right? Yeah, you can make water from air. Yeah, it's hydrogen and oxygen, sure. But is it efficient is the question. If it takes 10 times the amount of energy to make it, is it technically going to work? And the answer is no, not really. I mean, that's why, these heavy water cars and hydrogen engines and things like that, the reason we don't see them is because they are not truly efficient yet. They are negative on the scale still. Once they are, in mass production and it's easier, then sure, we could absolutely use that. A gallon of salt water drives your car for a year. That would be great. That would be great. Right? But we're not quite there yet. But drinkable water is the big commodity. I know at least for China it's a huge problem. But again, guys, on the lower time frames, there's been some silver trades in this one. If you guys wanted it, like I said, you'll see technical traders step in, and they'll probably be taking some shorts off this one today. Again, is it the easiest head and shoulders to find where it's completely flat? No, but you very rarely ever see those. Like I said, a true trader is a trader that can trade no matter what the candles are. A bad trader can only trade pretty candles. They can't trade the ugly candles. And 99% of the candles that we find in the world are going to be ugly candles. You can't trade ugly, you can't trade. All right, so let's go across and let's pull up oil, the other big trading commodity that is kind of disappearing. All right, let's see, bring it across. Crude oil. All right, give me the full featured chart. Let's drag this bad boy across. And there we go. All right, so yesterday, what happened, right? So we got a big negative number yesterday. I'm actually surprised. Like I said, I mentioned yesterday that I thought we were going to have a much closer hit yesterday. We've had some big misses lately. I was saying 1.9, to maybe minus point, maybe -3 to like a positive 1.9. So I was leaning more towards this side. Again, why? Because again, people not working, staying at home. I thought we were going to have a little bit closer, right? Well, because it was such a big miss, again, we did actually get a nice spike yesterday. So it turned out to be a good push, right? We ended up pushing through. We ended up using this level. And again, this is what we typically see. Basing, we had the pop. We came back and retested it and continued to push. Now, it went back up. Interestingly enough, I took those levels off yesterday because I was like, all right, I see this, continuing to push lower. And we had a level sitting, right, where is it? Right here. We talked about those levels. Okay, remember the 42 level? We had it drawn before. This was off the hourly way back when. That was the turning point, right? That 42.20 was the turning point. And again, that's what we ripped off. If you don't believe me, go back and watch the video from yesterday, right? That's what we had. Now it's continuing to push back down to that 41 number. Again, unemployment is higher. I think that oil will continue to readjust. I would have to say that I'm kind of bearish today, oil again. I felt yesterday that it was going to come down, and the big question was, how is it going to react in this level? If we could push down, and again, we were there, but again, we got that really big negative number, which was able to fuel oil higher, right? And now we're seeing that push. So, yeah, now that we're seeing the unemployment numbers, will we continue to push lower today? Will this 41.28 come into play is a big question for me. And like I said, I do think we will come back down to the level. The question is, will we hold that level and stabilize going into Friday, or will it actually try to set up a trade today? Now, oil is one of those things that it typically has a big move and then it goes flat on us. Over the last, 1, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, this one has done a lot of retracement in the last 4 hours, and the U.S. market is not even open right now. We may run out of steam here real quick, just because, again, this has had so much movement in the last couple of hours before the U.S. market is open, right? It's already reacted. I mean, listen, we popped, we ground, and then boom, we popped. And again, here's where we are right now, 12:30. Yesterday, we were sitting right here, right here, right at that zone, right here. And again, that's where the pop came through of. This little push up, and then boom, we had the explosion higher. So, yeah, I would have to say it. I feel like we need to be bearish oil again today. The pop yesterday was great. Again, that headline surprised a lot of people. Everybody went out there and started to short this thing, and that's what kind of fueled this thing higher. But at this point, again, we bounced off that hourly level. It's been a good hit in the past. It was retested again with this candle right here. It went higher than I thought. I thought we'd have a little bit more problems lower. And again, we're just driving right now. So, I don't see oil coming all the way down to like 40 today or like 39. I don't see that. The big question I have is, what is it going to do in this range here? And will we get the short that we talked about? Remember, yesterday I said, hey, listen, if we can get down to here 10, this would be a nice little kind of re-push forward, break through this level. 41 has been a big area. We bounced it a few times, stabilize. And again, you can see we stabilized it on the top side. And again, what did we do here? This is the one that we marked off. Look, we had all these trades back in here off of it. So, look, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41, 41. And then what did we do? On the top side, boom, 41, 41. Question is, are we going to turn again off of it, or will we continue to kind of fall back to the downside? And again, if we hit here at 10:30, there could be a nice little push there. And again, the top side of that zone, we're really close to it right now. It's 41.26, and the bottom is 41.05. So that little kind of like 15, 20 cent range has been that area that, like I said, it's another one of those areas of interest, guys, that, it's been rock solid. We hit it here, boom, boom, front run, boom, big push down, boom, 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 and then it became the top side, boom, boom, boom. And the question is it going to be high, or is that going to be the low push back down into the 40 range? All right. So yeah, oil's interestingly set up today. So we'll see what it's able to do if it's going to push down a little bit lower. As I said, with the negative kind of numbers that we've just had with the unemployment, obviously that means less people are driving, which is kind of, again, stepping forward. If less people are working, that means that less people are also driving. Okay, which means that the demand is going to be down, which means James's guys are going to start turning the gadgets in Texas, slowing that oil pipe down a little bit, right? Slowing the pipeline down. Okay. So yeah, there's what we got for oil today. All right, guys. So with that said, that is kind of the last one, the last bit of analysis this morning. Oil is risky, GLD, and gold is better. By any means, I would agree. I mean, yeah, they're all riskier in this, absolutely, without a doubt. Gold, I would say it's better right now, but only because we know stimulus is coming, and it's going to depend on who puts the bill first, whose bill gets approved, and how much it's going to include. So we know it could be good, but at the same time, it could disappoint. Is the only thing. Yeah, but Jim Cramer doesn't trade oil, so I mean, Jim Cramer doesn't know much about oil. He's not an oil guy, so yeah, I wouldn't focus on oil as much. And here's why too. So obviously the gold thing, we're waiting for that stimulus talk. It'll be today or tomorrow. There will be some mention of it, which will definitely spike gold higher. What's going to matter right now is looking at manufacturing, particularly in China. Remember, one of the biggest drivers of oil right now is not the United States. It's China. If China is looking a little bit ahead, remember, China the last couple of years has done kind of an oil company grab. The more that they grab, the more kind of oil will kind of push, right? And remember, who are China's kind of, who are their biggest trading partners? Who are their allies? They also happen to be the people that are producing oil. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Remember, it's all rigged. I mean, it's not an open fair market. It is completely rigged, especially in oil. So like I said, U.S. demand down is fine. The rest of the world still needs oil, so it's not just us, right? It's not just us. And areas like China do have the ability to spike the price of oil. Okay, without a doubt, with any type of issues. And remember, the dollar is not necessarily the strongest right now, so it is also easier to manipulate. Okay, oil is a very manipulated market, very, very easy. But gold, yeah, I would say gold is more of an up thing. Millennials don't buy oil, stay away. Yeah, but most millennials don't trade the market either, so I'm not necessarily worried about that. The millennials are the ones that are, again, they're out drinking at bars right now. The millennials aren't smart enough to wear masks, so right, everyone else is sucking oil up as fast as they can get it. Yeah, absolutely they are. Everybody. China is buying every small oil company, producer that they can find, because they know that eventually if it comes down to them in the United States, they need to make sure that they have plenty of oil and access to oil. And not that the United States needs it, we've prepared, but if there is some big, trade war or big, confrontation, if China owns all the companies in oil, guess who they're not selling to? The U.S. and their allies. So China's not dumb. China's not dumb. We're the number one consumer. I don't know. It's questionable. Oil is not the United States is not known for our oil production. We are known for our natural gas production. So, I would focus on, it's probably more that side. But like I said, oil, the heydays of oil are over. We don't need it as much as we used to anymore. It's not as big of a deal with efficiency standards, with pollution, with everything else. Oil is not going to be as big of a, I would say oil was bigger 10 years ago than it is now, as far as importance. OPEC used to matter. OPEC no longer matters. They don't have the same play anymore. Oil just doesn't have the oomph it does that it used to, and that's just the reality. When again, when your economy was driven off oil before, it mattered. Now, not so much. So again, still important commodity, still plenty of money to be made off of it, but it just doesn't carry the same weight that it used to. And again, that's just a sign of the times. That's technology. Again, cars are getting, back in the day, think about it. Think about your miles per gallon in your first car, right? If you guys had four-wheel drive vehicles, if I was getting, my second car was a Jeep, and I think I was getting like 12 miles per gallon. Now I drive an SUV that's twice as big that gets 35 miles per gallon, right? The need for oil is not what it used to be. So, all right, what is it? Automotive traffic in China alone has increased exponentially over the last 10 years. Yeah, it has. But again, China owns those, all that stuff. So again, it's good for China. China's not buying, they don't care about U.S. oil. They care about the, Middle East oil that they're getting plenty of, as well as Russian oil, as well as, South American oil. They're not dumb. They see the head. They see the future. The goal is that we don't want to be relying upon it anymore, which we're not. We have now, we've reduced our reliancy upon foreign oil, which is something that we had to do strategically, and we have. But it also means it has diminished its power. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the drawing. We got 8 people in. Remember, every single person that is in the channel right now is more than welcome to enter the drawing. All you have to do is exclamation point ticket to get you one. What this does is it gives you the ability to get some pip chips. Pip chips are just channel currency. You can use your channel currency for things like mentoring or indicators. We've had a bunch of people actually recently. Will, I know you're traveling still. We did marinas yesterday or the other day. Debbie has one next week. So again, people are taking advantage of those, and I am grateful that you guys are. What I'll do is I'll give you guys till 109-ish, right? And then I will go ahead and close this thing down. The way that you guys find where the redemptions are as well, if you just click on the bottom of, look below the Twitch panel, you guys will see there's a stream store over there. There's 2. Actually, it's the Stream Elements one. One of them will pop up and you will see, one of them you'll see like shirts and stuff like that. It's not that one. It's the different. It's the other stream store that you can find down there. And you'll see, the one-on-one mentoring, and you will see the indicators that I use as far as they're just MT4 indicators that I use as far as some special ones. All right. And yesterday the winner was Debbie. So we will see if Debbie can pull 2 in a row. Now Debbie is finally playing this smart. There's 109. I said I would shut it down. Debbie is playing it smart. She finally is like, I need to pull some wins out of this one. So she's up to 3 tickets today. So Debbie has the best percentage of the morning. Let's see if Debbie can pull 2 in a row. Debbie's, let's see. Whew. It's not Marina, so Ernest is not loading it down today, but we will see. Actually, wait a second. Wow. Wow. Look at that. You guys see? You see what's missing from the giveaway today? Who is missing from the giveaway? My man Ernest was too busy typing. Oh, wait. It says wait. I see it in the channel, but I don't see it over here. Wow. That's interesting. I think, wait, is Marina in there? No, Marina's not in there either. Maybe you're lower. You know what? You may be lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you guys are lower. You purchased early, so I can only show 10 on the screen. All right. You got 2? I see Wealth Builder with 2. Yeah. So you're, Ernest, you're just lower. It only shows 10. I was like, wow. Wait, this will be my 3rd win? Wait, you got 2 in a row? Did you get 2 in a row yesterday? Wait, hold on. Let me go back to giveaways. This was Debbie. Oh, it is Debbie. So, wow. So Debbie today, Debbie will be going for 250 pip chips today. So if Debbie wins, and Debbie's got 3. Debbie, I would have dropped more than 3 if I were you. But all right, so here we go, guys. Let's see if Debbie can pull 3 now. Ready? Winner of today's drawing is... Ooh, her girl got in there and got it. Her girl got it. Yeah, look, see, now it shows everybody. I just want to make sure you guys didn't think we were cheating you guys there. Wow. Your girl did it to you. And she did it with 1 ticket. Look at this. She is a monster with this 1 ticket. Debbie, I would have dropped more. It was for 250 pip chips. You got 100 yesterday. I would have dropped my full 10 in there if I were you. Just a little bit of mentoring. When you're on 2 victories and nobody else is loading it down, girl, you gotta do more than 3. You basically risked 20 pip chips and you lost out on 250. You gotta put them in there, man. You gotta do it. Anyway, all right, let me give Marina hers. Now, Marina is a little bit lower on the leaderboard right now. She is actually only in 3rd, so it's not too much, right? So we'll give her 25 for the day. And like I said, guys, Marina says that she thinks she's got the algorithm figured out for the drawings. I think it's random, but she's found a pattern that seems to be working for her. So, again, she definitely can throw some wins down. So you guys may be wanting to bombard her and ask her when she's putting out her How to Win Pip Chips class because, yeah, she's been up here and she does it with 1 pip chip. 1 pip chip. Will's on the top because Will doesn't spend money. Will is like, I'm going to hold my top position. I'm only buying 1. But she's doing it with 1 and taking names, guys. So with that said, guys, we will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back on from 8 to 9 a.m. again, and we'll see what opportunities we can find. Like I said, tomorrow there will be a lot of movement early on with currencies. All that European data tomorrow morning. Again, I'll flash it up here real quick. All this tomorrow morning. This guy will be a mover. This guy will be a mover. And this euro pound will be a mover tomorrow morning before we get to speak. Like I said, biggest thing I want you guys to focus on is the fact that we got a lot of 50s. We got a 50 here, 50 here, 51 here, and a 51 here. Last time they were unable to reach it. And again, there's supposed to be an adjustment for the French. And again, retail sales. So a lot of movement tomorrow morning. Take advantage of that. I will catch you guys tomorrow. If you need anything, go ahead and hit me on Discord. I'll be around later on today. You guys take care.